Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we are going to be making some tie-dye beads similar to these, and with them we are going to make a bracelet. So here's an example, and I'll show you some other beads that I created with this method. So these are going to be really cool. It's going to be a really fun necklace, but they are going to, or I'm sorry, this is going to be a really fun bracelet, but it's going to be with thinner beads, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is pick out your colors. So I have peacock blue here. I have my pearl green. I have some fuchsia mixed with white glitter and then just regular white glitter. And I think I'm going to add maybe just a touch of, let's add some, let's see, do we want purple? Yeah, let's add some purple. So I'm going to roll these all out onto my middle section of my pasta machine. Okay. Next, get your square cutter and cut out 3 squares of each color. And I'm making only a few beads, so I'm using a small square because this will actually make quite a few beads. All right, so I'll start out with my purple and then some white, and I'm going to mix these all up. I want my colors to be blended really nice. Oops. Okay. So now I'm going to start making this into a nice block. I'm going to just take my pointer tool and then start kind of pushing down to get those colors blended really well, and then mush them back together. So you see how it pushed all the colors in there? So now I'll do the same thing on this side. I'll do 2. Okay. Alrighty. Now I'm going to run this out on my thickest setting of my pasta machine. I'll cut it in half and then place them on top of each other. And then I will cut it in half one more time. Actually, it doesn't matter. Let me just put it that way. And then you'll see all those colors are nicely blended. So now I am going to start pushing them back together. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is decide, what do I want the inside of my bead to be? So the inside of the bead is going to show, so we want to make sure it's a pretty color. So I think I'm actually going to use my fuchsia here. And this is kind of just a bunch of colors mixed together. Like this particular one has the white, and then the rest is just fuchsia and some other pinks mixed together. So I'm going to roll this out, and I'm going to roll this out to my second thinnest setting because I do not want this thick at all. Okay, so you can see how thin that actually is. So I'm going to lay that down flat. Okay, and then I'm going to get my blade here. And I am going to push this down real good onto my tile so it stays put. And then I am going to carefully start shaving it. And I want thin little slices. And I'm going to keep going until I find the pieces that I really want. So right there, look how gorgeous that is. So now I'll set that on top of there. I love having this glitter clay in here because you can see all the beautiful glitter in there. It just looks so nice. And you don't have to have anything perfect on here because we are going to blend it all together. So I love that little section right there. So I'm going to add that. All right, I'm going to cut off this extra that I don't need. My next step is to get my deli paper. And then I'm going to get my metal tool here and I'm going to start burnishing this. I want this nice and flat. You want everything to be nice and smooth. All right, now I'm going to get my rolling pin. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carefully lift this up the best that I can. I'm going to be very careful I don't rip this. I'm going to place this on my deli paper. I'm going to cut my deli paper. And then I am going to carefully run this through my pasta machine. Okay, so it lifted up on me, unfortunately. You can see it kind of got stuck right there, but that's okay because we're rolling this anyway. So if that happens, don't stress about it. It is workable. Unfortunately, it was not what I wanted, but I looked away for a minute and that's what happened. So I am going to just stick with it because I don't want to make another one. I want to get, I just want to flatten this area out a bit. And the reason I want these really thin, I normally wouldn't make my beads as thin, is because I want them to be small. So I put it on the paper because I know if I would have ran this through my pasta machine and put it as thin as I wanted to, as big as it was, I wouldn't have full control over it. I would have honestly had less control than what I did when that little area kind of got stuck. And I want to flatten that out. So basically my main thing right now is just to make sure this is nice and smooth, which looks pretty good. So now I am going to grab my cutter and I'm going to start cutting out pieces here. So like this area here, I'll make sure that my bigger part goes onto that because that gets rolled up and covered. So it's not a big deal. So let me go and make sure they're really pretty colors. And you'll be able to get a lot of pieces out of this. Like that one, that's going to be one big bead right there. All right, so the reason I'm taking that off is I want to show you how close I'm making them. I want to make them super close so I'm not wasting a lot of my clay. I want to use up as much of this clay as I can. You really do get a lot out of that little bit of clay that we used. It's amazing how many beads we are going to get. And look how beautiful that is. Is that not really pretty? It's almost a shame to swirl it up and miss it, like cover a lot of it up. But we're going to get some gorgeous beads out of these. All right, you know what? So for these ones, I'm going to leave this go because I'm going to probably use a cutter or something there. All right, so next, I'm going to use my my bead pin. So this is a bigger one. So when I got my bead tray, I got these ones. And this is what I will bake them on. So they're like little tiny thin ones. But to roll them up, I like to use this one because it's going to give me a bigger hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them upside down. And then I am going to carefully start rolling them. And I'm going to keep it tight and just follow it right up. And try to keep it straight. If it bends on you, it's okay because we could redo it. So just, I'm going to take my finger, or you can even take the pin and just go straight over. And when I get to this area to make sure that it's going to go straight, I'm just going to hold on to it and follow through. And look how beautiful that looks. Is that not pretty? And I like to kind of just press that part down. And then I'm going to take the pin and just spin it. And then I can start pulling it off. And look how gorgeous that bead is. Is that not beautiful? And then I'll take one of these smaller ones. I'll put it on that. Get my bead rack, and then I will hang everything off my bead rack. So I'm going to go through and do every single one like that. And then when we're done, or when I'm done, I'll show you how they all look. All right, so I want to show you one thing that I am going to do, since I am going to be making a bracelet. I'm actually going to take these and make different size beads. So you can see the difference on what I'm actually going to be making. And I'll show you exactly what I did there. Let me just smooth that out. All right, so what I did was I took one of my pieces here, and I just cut it. So I'm shortening it. And this way, since I'm doing a bracelet, I'll get different size beads. And then I'm just going to take this and roll it. And I'll get a little tiny 2 bead. And very simple. And then I like to just kind of take this and just flatten it just a little bit. And then once again, turn it. And then I will take these ones. Let me separate them just a tad bit. And I could do both at the same time. And I will start rolling both of these. And just move slow. And it'll be nice because you'll have different size beads for your bracelet. So see how tiny and cute those are? So I like to be able to give my bracelet different options on how I want to do it. And I love that we could take this particular cutter and then just cut it down so we can kind of have different sizes. So I'll just make a few of those. And you can see my little tip broke off of that one. And I'll do that. I love these tiny ones. They're so cute. And you can even make earrings out of these as well if you wanted to. So just remember, you could really just make these any size you would like. So if you just want to roll it up a couple times and stop there, you could cut that off. Or you could, you know, do the half size. You know, it doesn't really matter with this particular one because you get a beautiful bead out of each size that you do. Okay, so I am going to finish these up, and then I'm going to place all of these in my oven, and I'm going to do 275 because this is all Primo clay, and then I'm going to bake all my pieces for about 45 minutes because they are a little thicker than the normal, you know, so like these little ones would be fine at a half hour. But 45 minutes to an hour, I would recommend to make sure your big ones are completely cured all the way through. All right, guys, so my pieces are out of the oven. They're cooled off. I did do a quick polish to them, which really helped to make them much, much brighter and slightly shiny. I absolutely love how these came out. So I am going to be actually making a bracelet with these. And I have a bunch of different beads that I just have kind of laying around that I want to use up. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use yet. I have my leather cord and some silver beads here as well. So the first thing I want to do is make this really long because I actually am going to wrap this around twice. And in order to do that, I want 4 strands total. So I'm going to cut 2 really long lengths, probably about, I'm going to wrap this around my neck and put it down to like my stomach area, and that'll be 1 long strand and kind of go from there. So here is one, and you want this long because you're going to be basically tying a bunch of things. And you'll probably have some left over, which is okay. And then to start out, I will get my little toggle thing here. I'm going to put both of my strings through. And then I want to make them even. So I'm going to pull this till all 4 line up. So I want to make sure all 4 of my ends are even. And then you can see that this will wrap around my wrist multiple times. So that gives me plenty of room to make my ties. All right, so once your piece is in there, you're going to take it and you're going to do a knot. And I want you to tighten it. And just pull carefully on it. You want to make sure that's nice and taut, okay? All right, so now you'll have 4 strands here. And then you'll pick and choose which ones you want to use. So I'm going to use all my small ones mainly for my bracelet. Oh, so let me get this started. I'm going to take one and I'm going to knot it. Do a little knot. And then place it. And then you could do another knot. You could leave the knot really close. You could leave it far down. However you want to do it. So it gives your bead a little bit of movement. So I like to leave it where it can move around a little bit. And I picked out these silver beads because they have like little suns on them. And I thought they would be perfect for this style bracelet. And I also have these little flowers. Now, some of them are a little hard to get through because of the way that the hole is. And don't try to force it through because all you're going to do is ruin your actual string. So if it doesn't fit, just try a different bead. Let me try maybe this yellow. I think would look really nice. That's what I have so far. So I'm going to go and do each one of these. And then when I'm done filling them up, we'll come back and show you how to finish it off. All right, guys, so all my pieces now are put onto my bracelet. This is what I have left. So I can either make another bracelet, or if I wanted to, I can make a bunch of earrings with this. But you can see how many beads I ended up using. Now, I could have went with just the beads that I made, but I really wanted to make this a fun, colorful piece. So for me to see if this is going to work for me, what I like to do is kind of hold this in place here with my pinky, and then I will wrap this around and kind of go from there to see if it's long enough. I like my bracelets a little bit more snug than loose. So I know I'm going to want it to stop right around this area. So I am not going to add any more beads to this because I want to have a little bit of movement in it as well. Plus being, you know, tight. I'm not sure how to really explain it other than that. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to get to. But anyway, so now we got to put our little toggle piece on, and I'm not going to be able to get all of these put on that area there in that little hole. So I am going to take this, I'm going to knot this, I'm going to kind of once again just go around, make sure that I have this correct, and that's going to be loose. So that's going to be a little too loose for me. So I know I need to go down a little bit more. There we go. If I had a ruler, I'd be able to kind of measure, but I don't. I don't know what happened to my ruler. And I'm going to go down just a tad bit more. Okay. Because you got to keep in mind, we are going to be adding that piece. So we got to kind of go by that as well. Okay. All right, so once that is added on, that should be the size that I need. All right, so you can see I did not overlay tighten this yet. And the reason I didn't is because I need to put some super glue in there. I don't have any other glue that dries fast, so super glue is going to be my go-to. So I'm actually going to just put that right in around there. And then I'm going to carefully pull that. And I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes because I want to make sure that is nice and tight. And I want to keep these pieces loose. They don't need to be glued together. So I'm just going to kind of pull those. And the reason we have to super glue it is because I'm not going to be able to get 4 of these strings in here. I'm only going to be able to get 2 of them in. So I can't keep all 4. So I need to make sure that these are going to be super glued and tight and not chance falling off. So let's see, I want the 2 longest ones to make my knot. So those 2. So I will cut this one off and this tiny one here. And that's why it's important to have that glue. And then I will put that on. Put my second one in. So put both of them in, and then we are going to retie this again. And I'm going to go up over. And then tighten that. And I can see it's right there. So I'm going to actually take my little tool here. I'm going to open this up a little bit. Get my super glue one more time. And I wish I had my little gel one, but I ran out of that. Otherwise, I would just put like a little dab in there. And then I will pull that tight again. Okay, so now let me tighten this first. This glue drives me crazy. There we go. And now we can put our bracelet on. Oops. I'm not very good at putting, I need one of those like bracelet holder things. I will eventually get it. You gotta put it close to me. There we go. I can't ever do it when it's far from me, but look how pretty that is. Is that not the coolest? So this is a fun beaded bracelet. I absolutely love this technique and this style. And just think of all the different beads you can create doing this. I mean, what a fun little bracelet. I really hope that you enjoyed creating along with me. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.